So we'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurulmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganalagnatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganalalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for coming. So we are in the first chapter, which is observing the armies. In Sanskrit, this chapter has been translated as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is basically the doubts that Arjuna has just before the battle is about to start. So here is the overview of the first chapter. Okay. So this chapter has got two sections. One, for the section one is the general overview of the battlefield, and the second section is, and that's what today we will try to cover it, is Arjuna's doubts. Arjuna has 5 doubts before he starts the battle. So within the section 1, we covered the subsection A and B, which is basically giving the overview of the war and the signs of Pandava's victory. So the flow till now, what we covered is, it starts with the question from Dhritarashtra, what my sons and sons of Pandava do after they assembled in the pious place of Kurukshetra with the intent to fight. And then Sanjay is starting describing how Duryodhana approaches Dronacharya, and first he goes and takes the situation of the armies on the Pandava side and starts naming some of their leaders on that. Yeah. And then he starts talking about the Kaurava side. Who all are the armies or the leaders on the Kaurava side joined with him to fight against the Pandavas. And then what happens? There Duryodhana plays. Right. Diplomatic. He talks all diplomatically. So he names Drishtadumna as Drupada's son, and Arjuna as your disciple. So now, after just to please Duryodhana, Bhishma blows the conch shell. And then followed by all the Kauravas army start playing the various drums and musical instruments. But Pandava's army is not shattered yet. And after Krishna and Arjuna starts blowing that conch shell, it is so uproar, so tumultuous that the Kaurava army is broken. Their hearts are shattered. Okay, that's where we ended the last class. Okay, the section B says the signs of Pandava's victory. Do you know? Do you want to recall what were the signs for the Pandavas' victory? Hanuman, good. The flag of Hanuman. Yeah, the conch shells were transcendental.
The most important one. Yes.
Krishna, the presence of Krishna. Okay. And the chariot that was given by Agni Dev. And then the place itself, the place where they were fighting was the Kurukshetra, the place itself actually, right? The place to fight. So these are some of the signs that they had. So now we are going to start with section C, subsection C, which is basically now Arjuna is going to request Krishna to take him in the middle of the army, in the between the two armies, and again he is going to lament, or he want to see who all are have gathered to fight against him, and that's where his doubt starts. Okay, so we will start with verse. We finished till verse 20. So yes, starting with verse 21. Radha Mataji, you have a book? Okay.
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Senayorubayormadhye
Senayorubayormadhye
Ratham Sthapayamechyuta
Ratham Sthapayamechuta
Yavat Etan Niriksheham
Yavad Etam Niriksheham
Yodhukaman Avasthitan
Yodukaman Avasthitam
Kairmaya Saha Yodhavyam
Kairmaya Sahayodhayam
Asmin Rana Samudyame.
Asyam Ranasamadhume.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
So now Arjuna is requesting Krishna to take him to the middle of in between the armies to see.
This is the first ever instruction Arjuna is giving to Krishna, first time. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed here as infallible.
So here, in the last class also we saw that based on the context, the names of Arjuna and Krishnas are used, right? Can you recall something? Which Dhananjaya, Rishikesha. So here, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Achyuta. The meaning of Achyuta is one who never falls or infallible. Falls from what? From his protecting his devotees, and as well as from his supreme position as a personality of Godhead. Like demigods, they have post, and some point of time, it is said that we all at some point of time were Brahmas before we falling down to this human form of life. So all our posts, even if you see in the material world, everybody has a post, right? Some may be a minister, or we may hold some post in office and things, but after some time you have to give it up. Either you retire, or you move out, or you are fired. But Krishna's position is not like that. So he is infallible.
As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he does not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of total senses.
So here Lord is also, Rishikesha is basically, what does the mean Rishikesh means? Rishikesh. Right. So here, that's where he is also addressed as Rishikesh, saying that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is control everyone's senses also.
The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is the master, everyone is under his orders and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances.
So here usually what is known and expected is that you should follow the instructions. But here the Lord being in the supreme position and based on how much surrender you have, the Lord is ready to reciprocate back actually. Like in the case of Arjuna, Arjuna is a great devotee of Krishna and he is ready to become his, or he has already become his charioteer. The position of charioteer is not so easy because in the war, in the actual war when happens, just the fraction of second you have to take decisions actually. So you do, there is not even you can with the words you can communicate with the charioteer. You have to basically kick him. Kick this side means turn this side, kick that side means right means turn right. So he has already taken that position, known that the charioteer will be treated like that.
So basically, sometimes when we always hear, right, in all religions, most of the times they say surrender unto God, follow His path. Like so many big words we hear. What is the general conception that we get? Our conception of service in this world is not perfect, right? There is a master who may not be always nice. Most of the times, master is not nice, right? And servant is like out of obligation you serve because you have no choice, because either the master is maintaining us or something else. So when you say serve God, surrender unto God, it doesn't paint a very good picture. Usually, that's the general conception. It feels like as if you have to give up your independence and all. But actually, if you see, this is the kind of relationship we are talking about. The fruit of surrender will be this kind, that Lord will be ready to do anything for us also, because He is totally controlled by our love. So that is when we say surrender and serving God, we are talking about reaching this kind of a position where the relationship is based on love, not out of duty, not out of fear. So this is a very important point to understand. God is not a dictator. When we say only surrender service like that, general concept like in Christianity and other places, most of the people have that fear factor out of God. They say if you don't do this, then demons will come and get you, and there are lots of things that actually is there. Christians are bound. Christian, Islamism, everything is bound by fear actually. They call themselves God fearing, but actually, if you see, Krishna consciousness is about loving God.
God
Love for God is more important than fear of God. So that's a very important concept to understand.
And we have seen this in the from the chapter 18, verse 56, where he says that you surrender unto me, I will ready to take all your sins. He is declaring that actually, don't fear at all. He's saying, do. That's where the love factor comes in actually. The more you love the God, that's the degree of surrender to the Krishna, and He is going to reciprocate you in your life according to the degree of surrender we have made to Him. We make little, He will also make a little step for us.
And in fact, Krishna is looking for this kind of love because He is the Supreme Lord. Like in the form of Vishnu and Narayana, He demands reverence from everybody. Most like 99% of the population of His devotees are in that mode. But everybody is only giving you respect, being very formal and all. He also gets bored. He also looks for a loving reciprocation. That's why if you see, He accepts Mother Yashoda as His mother, right? He wants to be chastised by her. When Mother Yashoda scolds her, He likes it because His devotee is taking a superior position than him. Those kind of exchanges He likes. Radharani gets angry with him. He comes late, she gets angry. She says, "I won't talk to you." So He likes all those things. Now, there are all the sages, demigods are always praising Him, praying to Him with prayers, but He is looking for this kind of intimacy. So this is the highest bhakti, this is the highest form of bhakti we can have. And Lord is also ready to do anything for us, right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So if they have the complete picture, right? So right, 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 right. Yes. So they don't have the correct full understanding. They don't have. So for example, a citizen,
Yeah.
right? A citizen. If he's a loyal citizen to the government, he won't even feel like breaking the rules, right? That's a good citizen. But a bad citizen who is inclined to break the rules, to keep him in control, he needs to be given the fear of punishment, fear of imprisonment, going to jail, or some kind of penalty, right? So it's the soul's free will also. Either he can go towards this path where he takes the love of God. He wants to develop love for God. When his intention is that, he will automatically follow the rules of God out of love. Oh, this is what my dear Lord wants me to do. He's told stealing is bad, so I should not. So that is coming out of love. But somebody where that love factor is missing, he has no knowledge of God, then he sees his conception of God is as a, law keeper or a punishment kind of, police kind of person. Then the fear factor comes in. If there is no love, he doesn't have, the 100% conception of what God is or what is his desire, then when he takes the other path, then, that's how fear comes in. I mean,
Also,
those are two facets of the same personality. Even if, a police officer, right, to a criminal, he brings in fear factor. To his wife, he may be a, very good spouse and a loving spouse. So there the love factor is there. Here it is not there. That's why they have to fear. They have no choice, no other choice but to fear.
also in the fear, you may not do it for initially few days or months or years, as long as you still have that fear, the degree of the fear. But as it fades away, your tendency to do it will again come back actually. But in the love, it is an eternal love actually. Once you establish that relationship with Krishna, and you will always respect that. We will see that in the subsequent verses, Prabhupada is mentioning some godly qualities. One of the qualities that devotees has is compassion. So that comes in automatically. Like we follow as a devotee, we have to follow 4 regulative principles. That there are some basics for it: compassion, cleanliness, honesty, shama, austerity, and they all are related to how you lead your life actually. So compassion will not be there if you eat meat, because you are just ignoring the pain of the others animals. If you are having illicit relationship, the cleanliness will not be maintained. So these are the things which generally comes when you start establishing. Once you start attaching to Krishna, so the all these bad qualities will go away, and you will invoke love, which will avoid you from doing this any kind of like stealing, other things actually. Honesty is one thing, gambling, no gambling. If you gamble, there will be no honesty. So, so when you understand, as she said, once you have a complete understanding, you will not automatically will have the love for it. In fact, you will feel the love of separation, that you have been so long separated from Krishna, that you need to go back to the original Father.
You will automatically do all the right things that is needed to go back.
Also in bhakti or in surrender, there are 2 things involved. Anukulyasa sankalpa, do something which is favorable for your bhakti, and don't do something which is not favorable for bhakti. Like do's and don'ts. any rules will, or anywhere you have a policy, there will be do's and don'ts. So similarly in bhakti also, you do certain things which will favor you for bhakti, and don'ts automatically as a bhakta, nobody will try to steal, and you'll try to have honesty within themselves. Honesty and truthfulness. So truthfulness and austerity. So this is how it is related. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. No meat eating will give you compassion. Illicit sex or relationship will give you will give you cleanliness. No gambling will give you honesty or truthfulness. And intoxication will give you austerity or discipline. How to discipline your life. And these are the four principles, regulative principles we call it.
So the four pillars of
Dharma.
Truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, and compassion. These are the four pillars of dharma. And by doing these activities, meat eating, gambling, and all those things, we are actually attacking the four pillars of dharma. So that's why in ISKCON we follow these four principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit.
Not only in ISKCON, any Vaishnava.
Any Vaishnava.
The four Vaishnava Sampradaya.
Any Vaishnava Sampradaya will have this.
And you also look at this. These are the four things that is causing the most destruction to this world. It has been said that the violence starts from the dining table, actually, or from your dining plate, dinner plate, actually. These are the ones. The most environmental destruction is happening just because 2/3 of the US produce is just used just to feed the farm animals, actually. If US wants, they can solve the poverty and the hungerness right away, actually. They can export all their grains, corns to South Africa and African islands, everything will be solved, actually. So much cases of society being unrest. It is Abdul Kalam once said that a good character person forms a gentleman, and from the gentleman forms a nice family. From nice families form the societies. From the societies form the city. From the cities form state and nations. But as an individual, we are not having an integrity. Like if you cannot be a good person, how you can think that the whole nation is going to be right? So many illicit relationship is causing so many single mom and single parent concept, and there no one. And since we are single, you have to work, and nobody takes care of the children. We are going to see now what happens when the degradation of society happens. Arjuna is one of the doubts of that Arjuna, actually. What happens if nobody takes care of the children, actually? So these are the four main things that causes havoc in the society, actually. Liquor or intoxication. So much of money is spent, actually, on the liquor. You go to the Costco shelf, actually, maybe 1/4 of the whole thing is all about this intoxication, or now they started having wines. Think about it. Those who are so rich, they can spend little money in charity. How much they can help the poor, actually, if they are really. They usually ask. Once my friend asked, "Hey, ISKCON is doing so many things like that. Why don't you guys go and feed to the poor?" The same question can be asked to those guys. Why you are having a going to the bar, and or during the night you guys have one of the best whiskey brands and Scotch brand? Why don't you give that money to the charity?
As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again, as to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
So since Arjuna being a Kshatriya, there is no question that he can do a peace on the battlefield. Since he is already on the ground, he has to, the duty of a Kshatriya is to fight. So there is no question that he can make a peace on the battlefield. So that's why he wanted to see who he wanted to fight with. So that's why he requested Krishna to take him in the middle of the battlefield.
Any questions?
Also, see, if I'm not recommending that, but if you read any version, though I myself have not read but heard about it, but if you read other versions of Bhagavad Gita, since it is coming from a devotee who has translated, there is so much of information is there. But if you read other version of Bhagavad Gita, this looks like a normal events that's happening in the battlefield. Nobody is going to explain. As if you are not a devotee, he is not going to explain what is Achyuta. Okay, Achyuta means Krishna. That's it. Apart from that, they are not going to elaborate. So this is the advantage of systematically learning, especially in the parampara system and written by a devotee or acharyas. So they give so much of information. If you read other version, maybe they may just not even be able to translate this also properly. Like how the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, they may translate it as the 5 senses. Pandavas has 5 senses, they will translate.
Text 23. Yotsamanam aveksheham.
Yotsamanam aveksheham.
Ya etetra samagataha.
Ya etetra samagataha.
Dhatra rashtrasya durbuddhe.
Dhatra rashtrasya durbuddhe.
Yuddhe priyachikirshavaha.
Yuddhe priyachikirshavaha.
Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Purport. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans, in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory because Krishna was sitting by his side.
So here again Arjuna is addressing Duryodhana as Durbuddhi. So means Durbuddhi means one who has evil mind or who has lost his intelligence. Because of him, his obstinance only, this war is forced on the Pandavas as well as Kauravas. And it is going to result in so many loss of life. Though it's a different thing that the Lord has already planned the destiny for all these demons to come together so that he can kill them at one stroke. Because even before the advent of Krishna, all the Devatas went and prayed to Bhumi Devi. Bhumi Devi along with all the Devatas go to the Shwetadeep and they pray that there are so many demons causing havoc in the society, in the earth, and you have to eliminate them. That's where Krishna promises that he is going to come in his own personal form, and this is the divine plan that is coming into the play. But again, if Duryodhana wanted, he could have avoided this battle just by giving the 5 villages. But rather than giving, he was ready to fight. So that's where he is addressed as Durbuddhi. The opposite of Durbuddhi is Subuddhi, one who has got good intelligence. So why the Arjuna is addressing Duryodhana is why he wanted to see who all are giving company or supporting Duryodhana in this evil thought. So that's where he want to go and see who all were present in that battlefield on the Kaurava side. And here Prabhupada is giving the analogy of the birds of same feather flock together. So, though Duryodhana is the one who is leading the fight against Kauravas, but others who are supporting are equally responsible because they could have gone and gave him, if all of them would have withdrawn support from him, then Duryodhana would have not fought the battle. but they were also were equally responsible for this battle that is forced on the Pandavas.
Sanjaya Uvacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Evam Ukto Rishikesho
Evam Yukto Rishikesho
Gudakeshena Bharata
Gudakeshena Bharata
Senayorubhayormadhye
Senayorubayormadhe
Sthapayitva Rathottamam.
Sthatayityathottamam.
Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharat, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Purport. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep, and one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna.
So here Sanjaya, now it's Sanjaya speaking, right? Now, after Arjuna requested Krishna to take him to the middle of the armies, now Sanjaya is speaking. Now Sanjaya is here using the word Gudakesha and Bharata for addressing Arjuna. And who is listening this?
Bharata is for Dhritarashtra.
Sorry, Gudakesha, sorry. Gudakesha is for...
Gudakesha is for Arjuna.
Gudakesha is for Arjuna. One of the Acharya mentions Dhritarashtra.
Here he is saying, no, O descendant of Bharata.
So it is addressed to both. It is because they are descendants. If we see the Kuru dynasty, they are all coming from King Bharata. It is addressed to both Arjuna as well as even applicable for not Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra and Arjuna also. It can be applicable because it's a descendant of. They were both. Krishna will also address Arjuna as Bharata. So here Gudaka means sleep. What does sleep usually means? It's like ignorance or darkness. So here by addressing Gudakesha, so he is saying Arjuna has conquered over the sleep, or more than that, over the darkness or the ignorance. And how he has overcome that? By being a devotee of Krishna. So that's where so this also signifies that, because the Dhritarashtra is listening, by addressing Arjuna as Gudakesha, even Dhritarashtra's, whatever the fear he has in his mind that the Kauravas are going to lose the battle, it is more firmed up now. Because of the presence of Krishna, Arjuna is surely that's signs of victory. Yeah.
He is Dhritarashtra's secretary, charioteer and secretary.
To see the Kaurava thing.
So, how Arjuna could conquer ignorance just because he was Krishna's friend? Always remember Krishna. So, next. So what if we are always remembering Krishna? How does it take us out of ignorance?
All these senses will be active.
Yeah. They are engaged in Krishna's service. Yeah. So basically, we are in ignorance when we are under the control of Maya. So where Krishna is there, Maya cannot be there. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it says it's compared. Krishna is compared to the sun. It said, Krishna Surya Saman, Maya Hai Andhakar. So Maya is darkness and Krishna is the sun. Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Andhakar. So where Krishna is there, all those places, all those people are outside of Maya's jurisdiction. So therefore, when we connect to Krishna, of course our surrender should also be strong. To that degree, Maya will also not affect us. So since Arjuna's position, what is Arjuna's position? He is an eternal companion of Krishna, always. Whenever Krishna comes down, he is always there in his pastimes, in some form or other. So Arjuna is the eternal and the constant companion of Krishna. So that's how he is out of ignorance always. Yeah, so that's what Prabhupada is explaining. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in walking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes.
So how we can think about Krishna in all these various aspects Prabhupada is mentioning in the form of name, how we can think Krishna? By chanting. How we can think or see Krishna in his form? By the deity, the deities
We have
itself.
deities, right? Deities in the temple.
So whenever you see the deities, you should have that thought that this is not different from Krishna. This is Krishna himself actually, who has come in a very merciful form as a deities to show his beautiful form to us actually. This is, one should not consider this as a stone or an idol actually. Because
So deities are like, you know, government authorized mailboxes are there, right? So if you put mail in those mailboxes only, then it is guaranteed to go, because that's authorized by the government. If you put your own red box outside, put your mail, will it go? No, right?
No postman.
So similarly, the deities are the authorized way for us to serve Krishna. So Krishna agrees to expand himself, because with our current senses, we cannot see Krishna. With our current eyes, we cannot see. With our current mouth, we cannot talk, because we are very impure. So, just to enable us to approach him, he agrees to come and reside in the form of a stone, marble, wood, so that we can serve him. So, the deity is actually an expansion of Paramatma, like the Paramatma feature of the Lord. So, that's how the deity manifests. So, when we do Pran Pratishtha, they get statues and then they do Pran Pratishtha and all those rituals, right? There, whoever is doing the Pran Pratishtha, they request the Paramatma in their heart to go and reside in the deity, actually. So that's how it does. So whichever, authorized deities, whatever we have, who had a proper Pran Pratishtha done by devotees, they are all bona fide. We cannot just call them, in fact, we don't even call them idols. Idols are just statues, actually. Idol and statue is very different. Idol and deity are very different. Deity means Krishna is there.
You're formally requesting Krishna
You have formally requested
to
Krishna
come
to
and
come and he does. He does.
not only that, when we sculpt the deities, there are particular who, it also depends on who is the sculpture, and then the way it is, there is a proportion in which you have to sculpt it. Actually, there is a very nice um, video for the Mayapur Narsingadev, actually, how it was sculpted and how even before the Lord was installed, how he started reciprocating. Yeah, in fact, yeah. See, Lord Narsinga, he is in Ugra form, right? And he was perfectly sculpted, and he was ready because somehow the transportation was some delay. I forgot it. He was not able to be taken to the Mayapur for installation, and wherever it was the sculpted figure of the Lord was there, the whole structure got burned just because of the delay, and the Lord was so anxious or basically angry that he is being put there actually.
Yeah.
He has been not yet installed yet actually.
So even before installation, the Lord started showing His presence, right? So actually, Lord's name, form, pastime, qualities are not
Not different.
from the Lord. They're all the same, actually.
And why that? Because yeah, but he is absolute.
He's absolute.
The material world is relative. Then the water and the actual water is different. Than
Word, water,
word,
and
water.
actual water is different.
But in the spiritual world, everything is absolute. Actually, there is no dualities. And qualities. So we covered name, form, qualities. Just by remembering Krishna, we are like or addressing like
Like
Achyuta,
how Arjuna has been addressing, right? In very different names.
Rishikesha.
Rishikesha, Achyuta. Those all describe his qualities. No, we all will not. We'll all have our spiritual body.
We all have our spiritual identity which we have left. So when we go back, we are going to resume that, and we don't know what is that.
It will be revealed
It will-
as we perfect.
Sorry.
Sorry, we got mixed up.
Good, Mataji. You go.
Radha
Try.
Mataji. That's kind of true also, because based on what your Swarupa or the original position is, Krishna will make arrangement for you in this world to prepare yourself to go back into your position that you have left. Like for example, all of us, right? We have some affinity for Radha and Krishna. That's why we are in this setting. If we had affinity for Lord Narayana and Lord Lakshmi, then probably we would have taken to Sri Sampradaya, right? If we have more affinity to some other thing, probably we would have been in some other Sampradaya, right?
Like Vallabha Sampradaya.
Vallabha Sampradaya.
They
They
only-
worship Krishna in the baby
Baby
form
form.
only. So if we have motherly affection for Krishna, suppose if that was our position in the spiritual world, then Krishna would have arranged for us to go to the Pushti Marg way. But we have some, I think our position is something, around Radha and Krishna. So if we are destined to go to Goloka Vrindavan, then Krishna has made that kind of arrangement for us. So Krishna also chooses, that's how it's a part of his plan also. Whenever we are ready to take up his service, then he will arrange the right kind of channel for us. Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody has a unique Swarupa. So what your services, I cannot do. What I have to offer to Krishna, he cannot do. So everybody has a very unique relationship with Krishna, and he has a unique service that only that soul can offer. So, and that's why Krishna is anxious to have us back actually, because that service is not being rendered now. Because only you can provide that service. So,
In fact, it is even said that whatever the service you were doing, so you surely have left that and came here into this degraded world. And Krishna is still waiting for it. So when you go back, you are going to again resume and finish that service. His example is given. Let's say that Krishna is eating and he asks for a water. And let's say I am the one who is going to take the water for him. And I go near the river bank. And just a thought that why should I serve Krishna? Why he is only enjoying? That thought itself makes us fall back. And that's just, when you go back, it's just a fraction of second, because there is no concept of time in spiritual world, which is hard to imagine from this.
even if there is a concept of time, if you see, one breath of Mahavishnu is equal to how many,
Some trillions of years.
trillions of years, right, for us, just one breath. So it's just like a momentary fall. I mean, from spiritual world point of view, it's a momentary fall down, but here for us, it means millions and trillions of births, actually.
It has also been said, like another example is our stay in the material world is like how you take a dip in the river and just go up. When you take a dip, you cannot stay for very long, right? You just dip and go up, right? That's the experience actually that you will have actually when you go back. But that doesn't mean that we have to prolong our stay till Kali Yuga and then go back, because your suffering is also there actually. Right.
That will be revealed. No, that will be revealed as you advance. That will be revealed what your Swarupa is to you. It
Like-
reveals in the heart.
The example is, yeah,
Yeah,
there is.
there.
Like,
So they are all.
it is revealed that all the six Goswamis, Veera, Vrindavan, right? They were none other than Manjaris. Manjaris are the one who assist the gopis in assisting.
There are like Radha and Krishna. Radha has sakhis. Radha's immediate friends are sakhis. Those sakhis will have assistants, small girls. They are called manjaris. So, yeah, go ahead.
So they were the Manjaris. Rupa Goswami is none other than Rupa Manjari. So they will be revealed. So what Prabhupada says.
Until Bhakti Vinod Thakur and all those acharyas have also, they know and they have disclosed, but Prabhupada hasn't disclosed because this is Kali Yuga and he preached to them.
Bhakti Siddhanta, yes.
I forget.
I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find it. He was one of the Manjaris actually. Yeah.
No,
But
we have.
same question was asked to Prabhupada. How I will know what is my Swarupa? So Prabhupada gave this very beautiful answer. Does somebody have to tell any of you that are you full when you are eating the food? You know how much you can eat, right? So similarly, when you at this point of time, don't focus on the destination. Focus on what you need to do. Make yourself deserving so that you can reach the destination. So Prabhupada said that you follow the process of bhakti, it will be revealed to you at time, place, and circumstances. If let's say also, it's something like even before the examination, if somebody reveals that like you will be first, you will be second, then nobody will take examination, right? You will be so relaxed to do it actually. So similarly, so it will be revealed at the appropriate time. The only thing that our part we need is to do a very sincere devotion, and it will be all revealed to us.
If you see, there will be so many devotees. They're all following the same path. They're following the same books. They're doing the same kind of services. But their attachments are so different. Some people like Lord Chaitanya so much, they don't care for Radha Krishna at all. They will only follow Lord Chaitanya. Some people say, I don't care about Krishna, Radha Rani is all for me. Right? Some people are something else. They like to cook for Krishna, like Rasavati Mataji, right? She always thinks, oh, Krishna today he wants to eat this. Like hers is like a maternal affection. So if you see everybody's rasa is different, and Krishna has placed them in those kinds of positions. So already many people who have been practicing for very long, they have a hint where they are going. If you see everybody's attraction is different. Somebody is so attached to Narsingadev. They don't want anybody else. And then like we have some classic examples, right? Some Ram devotees we have. They cannot take anybody else other than Ram, right? So that's their...
And that is absolutely perfect. And that is absolutely perfect. Whether you love Narsingadev, whether you like Ram or Vara or Krishna, Jagannath. Some people don't. If you go to Jagannath Puri, they don't like any other form apart from Lord Jagannath because that is a special form of the Lord actually.
Yeah. So that's their Swarupa. Already, some hints are already there actually.
We saw all these things in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. The 5 kind of rasas we read, right? Do you remember what was there? Shanta, Dasya, Madhurya is the last, or is the highest. Right. So you will be based on your, like even if let's say that if you go for a party, okay, there will be some people who are just going to eat more sweet. Some people are going to eat more savory. It's how your taste is. Similarly, even rendering the devotional service, it is not fixed that you have to be only a pujari to make your life or your devotional life successful. Whatever can best serve, you can do it. Sounds like even while coordinating the festival, what I see, some people, they just want to do very hard, laborious work. They don't want to do any kind of clerical work or take a volunteer form. And they don't want to do. Some people are, okay, I don't want to lift anything. I only want to take the name of registration who is signing it. So it is their rasa what they are doing actually. But all they are working together to make the event successful. Similarly, in the spiritual world, everybody keeps Krishna in the center and they work together.
Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi.
So, just to give some contemporary examples for how devotees can conquer sleep, Prabhupada, he at the advanced age, he came to US and established ISKCON and spread this movement. He hardly used to sleep 4 to 5 hours. Yeah, means whatever. So overall, I'm saying 24 hours. Rest 21 hours is all awake. Means in the night he used to go to bed early, wake up by 11 and start writing the books till the morning. Same with 6 Goswamis. They even used to sleep 1 or 2 hours actually. How they can do that? It's because they're always thinking about Krishna or doing some service to Krishna. But that doesn't mean that we should be also doing like that. Based on increase your minimum, and it is surely possible to do it. That we can also achieve it. But why I'm saying this, when as also we were a newbie and also we see others, we start everyone to at least chant 1 rounds. They will say, "Oh, I don't have a time." But you make an attempt, and surely Krishna is going to give you time for it. Think, as we said, you take a small baby step, he will take a step for you. If we keep ourselves busy in other material things, he is also going to keep us busy continuously. Not even going to give you some time for us to chant. But you make an humble attempt, pray to Krishna, I want to chant at least with 1 round. You think how the other obstacles in your life slowly will start fading away. He will start you, if you start praying, that 5 minutes he will give you in some form of the other, that you don't have to do the utility. I'm just giving an example, whatever. Some way you will see many obstacles. There are many things that comes in our life, right? Pops up, they will start fading away as you start settling and more focus more towards Krishna.
As Rishikesha, or the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows.
So we move to work. No, he also spoke earlier also. 21. Who? Sanjay is?
No. Krishna. Krishna will speak the first time.
Krishna will speak for the first time. Huh? He is speaking though. This is Sanjay is describing it, but I think he is going to speak in the second chapter only first time. He is going to speak in second chapter, second verse, where it says Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
So here actually if you see even in 24 and 25, Lord Krishna is not directly described actually. Like it's a very hushed up address for him. In second chapter it will come actually nicely.
Second chapter, second verse. He's going to speak the first.
भीष्म द्रोण प्रमुखतः
Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah
सर्वेषां च महीक्षितम्
Sarvesham cha Mahishitam
उवाच पार्थ पश्यैतान्
Uvacha Partha Paschaitam
समवेतान् कुरूनिति.
Samavetam Kuruniti.
In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, "Just behold, Partha, all Kurus assembled here." Purport. As the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Rishikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything, and the word Partha, meaning the son of Pritha or Kunti, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, the sister of his own father Vasudev, he agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pritha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking.
So, do you know the meaning of behold? It's an old English word, so that's literally meaning is see. So here now, after taking Arjuna in the middle of the army, Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Partha. Again, this will have some significance why he is addressing as Partha. Because Krishna and Arjuna, they are related. How they are related?
Arjuna's mother is Vasudev's sister.
Sister. And so So that's where he wants to establish that family relationship, saying that in our family, you are coming from a rich family lineage, and it is expected that you do your duty as a Kshatriya, and the duty of the Kshatriya is to fight. Um, and using that encouragement, he wants to make sure that Arjuna doesn't give up fighting.
Krishna is king's son and also he's a cowherd boy. How is that?
Oh.
So by birth, he was born in a Kshatriya family. He was born to Vasudev. But his foster parents, Yashoda and Nanda, they were cowherd people, right?
They were right.
So his childhood has been amongst the cowherd family.
So just to protect from Kamsa,
Just to protect from Kamsa, he was placed in Vrindavan, right?
by Vasudeva too, and Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj were friends. So he exchanged Krishna with none other than
Yashoda's daughter. Yashoda had
Yashoda.
a daughter at the same time. So he exchanged Krishna with Yashoda's daughter, who was
in
none other
the,
than Durga Devi, right? Yeah. But actually, if you see Krishna in his original form, in Goloka, he is tending cows only. Cows are like, that's what he does. That's what he likes to do.
and even when he comes here, he just comes here to show the glimpse of the spiritual world. This doesn't mean that he is doing something here and doing something else there actually. So whatever he did here, the same pastimes are being repeated even in the spiritual world. Even in the other material, we see here how many universes are emanating from Mahavishnu.
But that's what I don't understand. It's the same thing in Golaka. They don't have water. They don't have anything.
What?
They don't have water.
You said there's no phone. Golaka. They don't have still phone. They don't have cows. They don't have.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, 200 forms, yes.
I can't really material world.
No, no, no.
We,
There
but
everything will be spiritual.
the body is not like our body is made up of earth, water,
We have like
all the
blood,
material
bones,
elements.
everything, right? Like our bodies are made of earth, water, and other things, right? They are all material elements, right? So there it won't be like that. There our body will also be spiritual. Right now we distinguish between the soul and the body, right? So when we are in the spiritual world, there won't be any difference between the soul and the body. Like everything will be spiritual. We'll have the same form too.
We can.
So everything is
Even-
water is there,
but
but it is spiritual.
Conscious.
That's also conscious basically. For example, if Krishna desires that he wants Yamuna to come, it will come. Yeah, some of those things happened here while he was here also. But here, if we see water is not conscious, right? You know, but there it is. And there things can change form at will also. You know, it's said that sometimes example is given. So if a cowherd boy, if Krishna takes bath, takes a dip in Yamuna and with his cowherd friends, when he comes out, if he desires a towel, then one of the cowherd boys can transform himself as a towel. Some people can, once he is done, he can transform back into a gopa. So such kind of things are possible there. And there.
When we do something in the material world, the inner soul, whatever we feel, that's what is enjoyed there without.
Yeah, what?
What I'm saying is, if you may understand correctly, here we have material world.
Yeah.
Go in the water, we get some kind of feeling to the spirit. That's the feel we get there, but not necessarily.
Yeah, so here mostly our sense perception is the most dominant thing, right? So there it is, everything is spiritual, whatever you feel, your relation with Krishna, so those are the feelings that are predominant there. Here what we are, when we touch water or do something, it's mostly what we experience is what our senses are taking the input as. Maybe Prabhu can answer. So,
The question from Radha Mataji was how things are in material spiritual world, like let's say water. We were just explaining that here that everything is conscious and they can just, like, if Krishna wants to take a bath, he can just order Yamuna Devi to come and she will be there in the water form. So,
There's a main difference is it's, this material world has matters, the spiritual world has very conscious layers for it's mostly chit potency, consciousness. Sat is eternal, chit is conscious, Ananda is bliss. So these are the three potencies and everything over there is chit potency. But they are performing seva to the Lord in Santaras. The pick-up feather. Right? Here pick-up feather is there. Over there, pick-up feather, Krishna flute. They are all serving Krishna. Even Lord Balram, he actually expands to serve Krishna directly. As his bed, his shoes, or his paraphernalia. So it is all Lord Balram. Expansion. So these are all what Krishna wants according to the Krishna has to just desire. His Param Sakti is called as Ichha Shakti. Ichha Shakti means whatever he desires, that happens. This is how it works.
anything else, Mataji?
Ananda.
Like you hear the word, you might have heard the word Satchidananda. Satchidananda means Chit Ananda. That is Satchidananda. Sat means eternal. Chit means
Knowledge.
knowledge based or active. Knowledge is the name. Activity. Based on the knowledge. Ananda means the result of that is bliss. Acting in that.
So in this, the verse 25th that we covered, here Krishna is also intentionally telling Arjuna, see who all are there on the Kaurava side, just to say that what are the chances of victory is very less because I am with you. Or Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is with Arjuna, their chances of victory is very, very less. Just like say, sometimes we say, na, just to tease, see, kya chal raha hai, or whatever. So in that way, he is just telling Arjuna, see who all have assembled on the Kaurava side. Okay, we'll move to verse 26.
तत्रा पश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः
तत्र पश्यतांस्ति पार्थः
पितॄन् अथ पितामहान्
पितॄनथ पितामहान्
आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन्
आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन्
पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा
पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा
श्वशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव
श्वशुरान् शूद्रश्चैव
सेनयोरुभयोरपि
सेनयोरुभयोरपि.
There Arjuna could see, within the midst of both armies, of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhan, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwathama, well-wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends.
So after Krishna moved the chariot in the middle of the armies, now Arjuna is seeing who all are present, and he is also trying to establish a bodily relationship. Hey, I can see my father-like figure, my grandfather, my acharya, my son, my brothers, and well-wishers are present there. So he is going to get more. Uh, he's going to have develop more compassion after establishing all this relationship, but these relationships are at a very bodily level actually. So that's what this verse is all about. Anything else? Anything else, Prabhu, in this verse, Prabhu?
Yeah, we also have a similar experience when we go to India. We see our relatives. Like special emotions, you know? Like every time we go and see them, we just get so much love and affection for them. Now, of course, we have it. The more distance we there, but when we go in close proximity, then we experience that. And sometimes, you will see that when we go and visit them, then automatically tears will fall from our eyes. So this is love and affection. But that tear doesn't fall for anybody or everybody. It's because I have connection with that person. I immediately have affection. Like I remember in my case, I have granddaughters. So I have never seen her. She took birth, and after 5 years I saw her. Immediately there was an attachment just by seeing the baby. So that, and then I could experience myself that it was not the same with everybody, all the kids I met, or the 5-year-old I met. So that is because of our bodily consciousness. We attach ourselves like family members or extended family members. We see them, automatic attachment starts. And Krishna has a plan, you must have already described this, to take Arjuna to that position. You want Arjuna to see them from very close proximity. Because the plan is he has to speak Bhagavad Gita. If he doesn't take that, then he will not get emotional. That was the moment.
So there were so many people, but Krishna intentionally drove him in front of Bhishma and Drona only because they are the ones who are most dear to Arjuna on the opposing side. So,
He practically grew up with them.
yeah.
The whole childhood was with Drona and Krishna. Especially the Dronacharya is a teacher. Krishna is a grandfather. So much affection.
Is Arjuna aware of Krishna and he was growing up?
As a Lord,
Maybe.
as a relative, yes.
Yes. So once he was in Mathura, it said, Krishna is better known as friend of Arjuna. Like that's what the gopis used to say. So now he is known as the friend. So they were together. Once he went back to Mathura, after that Arjuna and Krishna were always very close.
Yeah, I haven't
together.
seen more instances where that is depicted or childhood days where Arjuna and Krishna had met.
Yeah.
They must have met. But because they are friends, so it has to begin somewhere. So,
I haven't seen any pastimes of those.
After they were ruling from Indraprastha, that time Krishna used to visit a lot, right? So that is after their education was over. But earlier they would have been with Dronacharya, right? The education they would have been with Gurus. So once their education was over, once they were ruling from Indraprastha, from that time onwards we hear that Krishna, they had their own palace where they invited
That is
Krishna.
why he having some.
Yeah, yes, from that time onwards we know.
Okay, so this is the last verse in which this will be the last verse of the section 1 of the chapter 1, which will give you the overview of the battle. Now, the next verse 28 onwards, Arjuna is going to start expressing his doubts.
When the son of Kunti, Tan samekshasya kaunteyaha
Tanti vikshasa kaunteya
sarvan bandhun avasthitan
sarvan bandhuna navasthitan
kripaya paraya vishto
kripaya paraya vrishto
vishidan nidam abravit. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
So there is no purport for this verse. So after seeing all his kingsmen, family, brother, his teachers, now he is getting compassionate. He is for sure the battle is going to happen, and Krishna is there on his side. So whoever is opposing him, they all will be killed for sure. So and Arjuna is also a learned scholar in Vedas. So he is just as a genuine devotee, his compassion is coming in because as a devotee, you don't want to cause any kind of violence or so that's where and as Prabhu said, this is Krishna's divine plan to bring that compassion out on the material platform so that he can speak Bhagavad Gita. So, so now in the next verse onwards, we are going to see how Arjuna is going to express his doubts. Anything Prabhu on this
So
verse?
here this two terms, one is Daya and other is Kripa. There are two different meanings. It is approximately similar to our class. There is a technical difference. Daya is mercy in general.
It's for everybody.
It's for
Everybody.
like for animals or it is for but Kripa is compassion for specific person. Like we hear about in Hindi. Bhagwan ki Kripa always. That means on that one person, the Lord bestowed his compassion on mercy. Daya is for them. So Acharya they explain also. So you have explained that there are many different acharyas in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, to an extent. But go to him and explain.
So what I'm saying is that Prabhupada has written.
Based on Baladev Vidyabhushan.
Yeah, that we have discussed.
So there are other commentaries like other four bona fide sampradayas, right? All the acharyas have also written their commentaries. Like Ramanujacharya have their own commentary, Rudra Sampradaya, Keshav Kashmiri.
Keshav Kashmiri is
So-
most are there, right? Keshav Kashmiri from the Rudra Sampradaya, Keshav Kashmiri's commentaries are there. A lot of them.
In this I don't think so. But here there are like I think four. One is Ramanujacharya. Predominantly is Baladev Vidyabhushan.
Yeah,
And then Ramanujacharya. And
Madhvacharya.
Sridhar Swami.
Sridhar Swami.
We are mostly finding Keshav Kashmiri only Prabhu from Rudra Sampradaya.
Is Madhvacharya?
Madhvacharya's also lots of commentaries are there.
Yeah,
Madhvacharya's
here it is definitely written. Yeah, I don't recall. Fourth one, maybe Krishna. I don't
हम लोग को तो अभी we are getting like only
Keshav
this
Kashmiri's
four.
version is.
versions are only there. Yeah.
So there are four versions which from which Prabhupada is compiled. And Prabhupada also.
Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Yes.
Yeah, Vishwanath. Baladev Vidyabhushan was a student of Vishwanath Chakravarti. He was a disciple.
So again going on this section slide. So we covered till verse 27, which ends the section 1, which is introduction or giving the overview of the battlefield. Now verse 28 to verse 46, Arjuna is going to, or maybe 45 because 46 is what Sanjay is going to speak. So Arjuna is going to raise doubts in these 5 aspects. One is that he is going to express compassion for all those who are going to get killed. Then from verse 31 to 35, he is saying, let's say that the battle over and we are victorious. What is the point of enjoying this after losing all my family members? Usually that's how even our material world, right? We want to show our enjoyment is in comparison who is seeing it actually, right? We want to show off, right? So what he will do if he has,
Share also.
sure, yeah. So what he is going to do if nobody is there to show and share?
Because you will also enjoy with the relatives.
Yeah.
Opulence and all these things. You enjoy with See, if they are not there, then they go beyond an idea. So all these reasons are really valid reasons. We will feel that those are very, very valid reasons. But they are not valid in the platform of spirituality or the platform of soul. That's where is the difference between Bhagavad Gita's teaching and other teachings. That's the main difference.
The third is from verse 36 to 38. This is giving an overview of what we are going to cover in the next section is the fear of sinful reaction, that after killing so many people, there will be a reaction. Every action is an equal and opposite reaction. And this is based on Arjuna's, as a scholar in Vedas, he's thinking, okay, I will have to go through so many reactions of killing so many people. And
One more point in that. So, simple reaction is you perform karma. So, Arjuna is going to kill by his relatives. So, he is going to win. Let's say he wins. So, he is calculating in that, right? He will go deeper in that. Right? So, let's say he can rule for another 50 years or 100 years. So, for 100 years, only he has to rule. And he is going to get simple reaction so much. So, what is the thing? That's another point.
the fourth one is in destruction of the destruction of the family tradition. Since all the like Bhishma, the grandson of the Kuru dynasty, the Dronacharya, everyone will be killed. Who is going to lead them? Who is going to pass the culture, value, dharma to the subsequent generation? We will see in
Not just that, the entire Kshatriya race is going to be wiped out. All the Kshatriyas of the world had assembled there. Everybody is going to die, basically. Then we know Kshatriyas what will happen to the society.
And then is fifth is indecision. What should I do? Whether should I fight? Should I not fight after gone through all this reasoning? Should I do it or not? So now,
Coming to the second chapter.
yeah. Anything else, bro?
That's pretty much it. This is the essence of these are the 5 reasons. The fifth one is the
Result of the first four.
The first 4 are the reasons. These are the case confused. So this is where Arjuna teaches that when we get confused, what we should do. So Arjuna teaches us. Arjuna tells Krishna, I am right now confused. I don't know what to do. What is good for me? What is bad for me? So please become my guru and instructor. Sisters, I surrender unto you. Please instruct. That's so till that point, Krishna doesn't speak unless a few words here and there is spoken. But Krishna doesn't start giving the law. Giving Arjuna
Expressing.
expressing his surrender. So similarly, if a person is not ready to listen, then we cannot preach or give information. If we give, it's like a wall.
Reflect back.
It's going to reflect back. So as soon as the person is ready to receive, then the information can be given.
There is a response for it. You want to fill the glass with water, you have to turn this way. If you turn the glass in opposite direction, so until you try, glass never gets filled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good analogy. Okay, so we'll read from verse 28.
Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Drishtvevam Svajanam Krishna
Drishtevam Swajanam Krishna
Yuyutsum Samupasthitam
Yuyutsam Samupasitam
Sidanti Mama Gatrani
Sidanti Mama Gatrani
Mukham Cha Parishushyati.
Mukham Cha Parishushyati.
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yastyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunais tatra samaste suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bahihi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods, but one who is not a pure devotee, not a devotee of the Lord, has only material qualifications that are of illusory value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy.
So this is the verse where Arjuna is speaking, after seeing all his relatives and all his friends and family members, that he is overcome by the compassion. Now he is showing his bodily signs. What are the two bodily signs it is mentioned here is that his limbs are quivering and mouth is drying up. And that is just because of the compassion that he is, and he is a genuine devotee, right? So that's where these things are manifesting on his bodies. So here the godly qualities, the good qualities are found in the godly person or in the devotees, and that's we probably can explain here. But what we discuss, some of them are, one is already mentioned here is compassion, the other is honesty, cleanliness, and austerities are some of the good qualities that you will find in the devotees. Is there anything else, Prabhu, on this godly humility? Oh, okay.
Gratitude. There are many things.
Mhm.
There are all these qualities are actually described in the later chapters. We will see multiple times. There are divine qualities and there are demonic qualities. So, like in 16th chapter, I think Krishna says that I have already described the godly qualities in many places. So, different places, different qualities are mentioned. And when you actually surrender to Krishna or become devotee of Krishna, you don't have to work on to get these qualities.
They are byproducts.
They are byproducts. Automatically, these things will come in. When you become devotee, automatically these qualities are restored. Because now you see everything in relationship with Krishna. See, normally we see for our material enjoyment. So, like a crab mentality. Crab wants to see all the crabs. Put the crab in a hole or ditch. One crab wants to get up. All the other crabs will So you see the experience you get in workplace. In workplace specifically, you see this. If one person wants to be acting or getting higher in the ladder, all the other people will try to pull it. So this negative feelings, because they are all attracted by material energy. When you see the last line of the purport, which is said, this is because he is hovering on the mental plane, he is certain to be attracted by glaring mental energy. So now you see what you have learned in terms of what you have learned. You see people coming in the material world to enjoy because they want to control things, they want to be proprietor, and finally they want to
Enjoy.
So all the living entities are competitor to each other. Then if I move a view, then I can enjoy more. So that platform is better. So that brings up competition and pulling each other down, backbiting, politics, these things are there. Whereas if you are in a spiritual platform, then you connect everything with Krishna. So Krishna is here, all the living entities are around us. We connect all the living entities with Krishna. They are part and parcel of Krishna. They are soul, I am also soul. And we all have to go back to God. They are all parts of God. So then we don't have that competition. So all these good qualities automatically actually is within the soul. Because soul is spiritual. And originally soul has all the good qualities. When the soul comes in the material body, in the material world, the purpose is different, which is to enjoy but become like Krishna.
Independent.
Independent of Krishna. So then all these coverings are given. Because of the coverings, the soul is now acting in this way. So somebody who is spiritual, he sees all these things, he is able to see these things because of his knowledge. And now instead of feeling competitive to the other soul, he feels compassion. How can I help the other soul to go back to Krishna? This thing is automatically generated, given into that living.
So here, as Prabhupada is mentioning, though you may have all material qualification, but they are of little value. So we saw an analogy last week, right? So you may have many things, right? You may have home, family, wealth, good health. They are like zeros. How many you can have all them, add it up, it will be a zero only, unless and until you put Krishna, who is like one. So then only it will make all the values. So what Prabhupada is saying is that you may have many things materially, but if you don't have Krishna, then it is of very little value. Okay, so we'll read one more verse and we will end because I think most of you will have to leave.
Vepaduscha sharire.
So then one more point is about symptoms. Right? So symptoms of the body is an external manifestation of what is going on in the mind. Right? Like when somebody is anger, and anger is actually a manifestation of something deep going on. So unless we solve the root problem, the external symptoms will not go away. So over here, if you see Arjuna is showing all these external symptoms. Limbs of my body quivering, mouth drying up, even he is crying. So internal emotions is driving this body, external manifestation of the body. So that's what you need to understand. So now somebody behaving in certain way because of this connect. So his external manifestation is because of his association of the things that are going on around him with his body in the platform of body. That's why these manifestations are. I think that's
Text 29. Vepatuscha sharire me.
Vepaduscha sharire me
Romaharshascha jayate.
Romaharshasya jayate
Gandivam samsrute hastat.
Gandivam samsrute hasya
Vachaiva paridahyate.
Vachvaika parichayate.
My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Purport. There are two kinds of trembling of the body, and two kinds of standings of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realizations. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life.
So here Arjuna is kind of expressing more of his bodily symptoms because of the shock and horror that there is an imminent war and all the persons who have assembled there are going to be get killed. So here he is expressing three more symptoms, right? What are the three more symptoms? That is that his body is trembling, his hair is standing on the end. You know what is the term for that? Hortulation. Like basically, whenever you go out in the cold, you will see the all your hair. Huh? Go, yeah, yeah, like that. And also he's having the Gandiva. The Gandiva was the bow that was given by Lord Agnidev, and his skin is burning. So sorry, four symptoms are there actually. So here, so this is how Arjuna is, as Prabhu said, is all the there is something compassion is happening inside, and that is showing his bodily symptoms. But Prabhupada here is comparing that with material and even the spiritual expression. Sometimes when we dance in a kirtan or when we see a beautiful darshan of the Lord or we hear some pastimes, devotees, great devotees, they express all these symptoms, but that doesn't mean that is at a material platform. But what Arjuna here is expressing here in the bodily is completely because of the material fear, the fear that his relatives and friends will be killed.
No, right. You can imagine actually. Let's say we are in another position. What we will do. When we hear this pastimes or when we read, we should the way to get more absorbed into this is try to imagine what is going on. Let's say the word description is given. So when you are reading or reading, imagine yourself like a camera. You are there, right there, and see what is going on. Because if you experience that, then the pastime is one is just simply plain hearing without even thinking about it. The deep way of hearing is like going into that situation and trying to see from outside as a person, as a camera.
He must be feeling pity because he knows that everyone will be killed because Arjuna is with him. So
Krishna.
Krishna is with him. Knowing that, yeah, he's definitely killed.
Yeah, one time happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
My father was detected with cancer and he was going to leave his body. He was pancreatic cancer. So for sure, in a couple of months he will die. So then one day I got a call, okay, it is very serious. So immediately we went to see him. And then when we went there, after he heard that I came, he became alright. So then from there he came back from hospital to home. So we stayed there for 3-4 weeks. And then we had to leave and come because we had jobs. We cannot stay there. So the time I was leaving, I had this kind of feeling actually. Because now this is the last time I'm going to see him. Now the death will happen. Of course, anytime we go, we don't associate with that. Oh, this is the last time I'm seeing my parents or my relatives. But this I knew for sure that he's not going to be there for a long time. So it's a very, very, very difficult feeling to handle. Especially when you are with relatives.
So here some of the Acharya says that his bow is slipping. He is also showing his impatience. Why? That's why his bow is slipping from his hip. There are other bodily signs, right? Like skin is burning and hair is standing on the end. The slipping of the Gandiva bow is attributed to his impatience, actually. Any questions? I think we'll end here. I think most of us will have to go to temple. So Any questions? For next week, as I said, we are leaving to India this Thursday. So Prabhuji is here. He offered help and that he can take the classes next 2 weeks. But he's also going to India for yatra. Till what time, bro? October 18th?
I'm leaving on 18th.
18th. So there may be 2 Sundays that comes after that. So Prabhuji can take if we all. I would prefer you guys continue it so that there is no break. Because once a big break comes, it's very hard to get that motivation and get coming. So Prabhuji just stay very next door actually. Next week due? Next.
Next week I have event
Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Following weeks, family staying in
Okay. That's fine, absolutely. So I'm just saying, if we have a quorum and many devotees can attend, Prabhuji can take
The house is
16th.
right on the intersection. You will take is
16th and 228th intersection, the very first house.
take a right. From here, you're going out. Take a right over there, and very first house on the left side.
Oh,
I can show you. We can just walk and see also. So,
Right. There's a lot of parking also.
yeah. So next week I can just pull a WhatsApp message and see who all wants to attend.
If you are not everybody, but then you know, if you couple of devotees can come, then I will.
Shila Prabhupada ki jai.